Here's something no one tells you when you bring a dog into your life. Loving them isn't enough. You can adore them with every fiber of your being. You can sacrifice sleep, money, weekends, and white furniture. You can build your entire routine around their happiness, and still somehow they might not fully feel it. If that hits you somewhere deep, you're not alone. And if you're the kind of person who wants to truly understand your dog, not just care for them but connect with them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This channel exists for people like you, people who know that love isn't just a feeling, it's a language. Now let's get into something uncomfortable. Most of us assume that our dogs understand our love because we feel it so intensely. We project our human experience onto them. We think, I love him so much, he must know. We say the words. We offer the treats. We open our arms wide and expect them to decode the message. But here's the truth that changes everything. Dogs don't experience love the way we express it. They're not broken. They're not ungrateful. They simply operate in a completely different emotional dialect. And when we speak our language instead of theirs, something gets lost. Not the love, the translation. Think about it. When you come home after a long day, overwhelmed with joy to see them, what do? You probably rush toward them. Your voice goes high, your energy spikes. To you, this is celebration. To them, it can feel like chaos, unpredictability, a surge of stimulation they have to manage instead of enjoy. You meant to say, I missed you so much. What they heard was static. This isn't your fault. No one teaches us this. We're told to love our dogs, but we're never told that love has a format. And if we get the format wrong, the message doesn't arrive. And here's what makes this even more important. Something we'll come back to at the end of this video. There's one thing most dog owners do every single day, believing it's an expression of love, that's actually creating invisible emotional distance. It's subtle. It feels natural. And it's slowly teaching your dog that your affection is something to survive rather than savor. We'll get there. But first, you need to understand the foundation. Your dog doesn't doubt your love. They're not sitting in the corner wondering if you care. That's not how their mind works. But they are constantly reading you, your patterns, your energy, your micro-expressions, trying to decode what it all means. The question isn't whether you love them. The question is whether you've learned to show it in a language they can actually receive. Because love that can't be understood is love that can't be felt, and your dog deserves to feel it. Let me take you somewhere specific. Your front door, that threshold you cross every single day without thinking twice. Now let me tell you what's actually happening on the other side of it. The moment your dog hears your car pull up, or your keys jingle, or your footsteps on the porch, their entire nervous system activates. Not in a bad way, in an anticipatory way. They're not just excited, they're reading, scanning, collecting data at a speed we can barely comprehend. And here's what most people never realize. The first 5 seconds of your arrival will determine the emotional tone of the next several hours. Not the treats you give, not the belly rubs, not the baby voice. The first 5 seconds. Research in canine behavioral science has shown that dogs form emotional conclusions almost instantaneously. They're not analyzing your words, they're absorbing your energy, the pace of your movements, the tension in your shoulders, the rhythm of your breathing. All of it floods into their perception before you even say, hello. So when you burst through the door, voice high, movements fast, energy scattered from the chaos of your day, what does your dog feel? Stimulation, overwhelm, a spike of cortisol disguised as excitement. They jump, they spin, they bark, and we interpret that as joy. But often, it's not joy, it's arousal. It's their system trying to match your dysregulation, and arousal is not the same as happiness. Here's the first daily practice that will change everything. Arrive like the calm they've been waiting for. Walk in slowly. Breathe. Let your presence settle before your attention lands on them. Give them 3 to 5 seconds of your grounded energy before any interaction. Let them see that you're home, and that home is safe now. This sounds so simple it almost feels meaningless. But try it once and watch what happens. Instead of jumping, They'll exhale. Instead of spinning, they'll approach you softly. You're teaching them that your arrival means peace, not chaos. Now flip the script. Departures. Most owners make leaving dramatic. Long goodbyes. Apologetic tones. Mommy will be back, I promise. Be a good boy, I love you so much, okay? Okay? Your dog doesn't understand the words, but they understand the tension, the guilt, the emotional charge, and that energy says something bad is about to happen. Here's the second practice. Leave like it means nothing. No fanfare, no sorrow. A calm exit that communicates confidence. When you treat departure as normal, your dog learns to feel the same way. These two moments, arrival and departure, happen every single day. And every single day, they're either building your dog's emotional security or slowly chipping away at it. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's all it takes to start speaking their language. They're not just happy you're home. They're reading whether home is safe now that you're back. Make sure the answer is yes. You talk to your dog every day. Full sentences, questions, narrations of your entire life as if they're your furry therapist who just happens to never respond. And honestly, they love it. The sound of your voice is a comfort. But here's what you need to understand. The most powerful things you'll ever say to your dog won't come from your mouth at all. There's a language that bypasses words entirely, a language written in glances and touch. And when you learn to speak it, everything shifts. Let's start with your eyes. You've probably heard that dogs don't like eye contact. That staring is a threat. And that's partially true. For strangers, for tense situations, for unfamiliar dogs asserting dominance. But between you and your dog, eye contact is something else entirely. Studies in animal cognition have found that when a dog and their owner share soft, relaxed eye contact, both brains release oxytocin, the same hormone that floods a mother's system when she holds her newborn, the same chemical that bonds humans in love, trust, and deep attachment. Your dog isn't just looking at you. They're bonding with you on a neurological level. But here's the key. It has to be soft, gentle, a relaxed gaze, not a hard stare. Think of it like this. You're not looking at them. You're looking into them, slowly, calmly, with warmth behind your eyes. Try it today. Sit with your dog in a quiet moment. Let your eyes meet theirs without intensity. Breathe. Hold that gaze for just a few seconds, and notice what happens. They might blink slowly. They might sigh. They might lean into you. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry. Your eyes can say, "I love you," louder than your voice ever could. Now, let's talk about touch. You pet your dog constantly, but have you ever thought about where and how? Most people default to the head, a pat on top of the skull, quick, automatic, affectionate in intention. But to many dogs, that gesture doesn't feel like love. It feels like dominance. A hand coming down from above can trigger an instinctive discomfort, even if they tolerate it because they trust you. Here's the shift. Move to the chest, the shoulders, the side of the neck. These areas communicate partnership, equality. When you touch them there, slowly and with intention, you're saying, "We're in this together." Not, "I'm above you." And slow matters. Rushed petting feels like obligation. Slow, deliberate strokes feel like presence. Think about how you touch someone you love in a meaningful moment. You don't rush. You linger. You let your hand say what words can't. Your dog deserves that same intentionality. Eyes and hands. Two tools you already have. Two channels of communication you've been using every day without realizing their power. Now you know. And once you know, you can't unsee it. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. When you take your dog for a walk, who is it really for? Be honest. Because most of the time, walks become tasks. Items on a checklist. You've got 15 minutes before your next meeting, or dinner's almost ready, or you're just tired and want to get it over with. So you walk fast, you pull the leash when they stop too long. You say, "Come on," more than you say anything else. And when they try to sniff that fire hydrant for the 5th time this week, You tug them forward because you've got places to be. Here's what's happening in that moment that you can't see. Your dog's nose is not just a nose, it's a universe. Canine olfactory systems are so advanced that scientists compare a dog sniffing a fire hydrant to a human scrolling through social media. They're gathering stories, information, emotional data about every dog that passed, what they ate, how they felt, whether they're a threat or a friend. When your dog stops to sniff, they're not wasting time. They're experiencing the richest part of their mental world. And when you pull them away, you're saying, without meaning to, your experience doesn't matter right now. Mine does. That's not love. That's control wearing love's costume. Practice 5 is simple but profound. Let them lead with their nose. At least once a day, take what trainers call a sniff walk or a decompression walk. No agenda, no destination, no timeline. Just your dog, a long leash, and the freedom to explore whatever catches their attention. Let them stop. Let them linger. Let them take 5 minutes on a single patch of grass if that's what they want. This isn't about exercise. It's about respect. When you give your dog the freedom to move through the world on their terms, even for just 15 minutes, you're communicating something powerful. You're saying, I see you. I honor your experience. Your curiosity matters to me. Research on canine enrichment shows that mental stimulation through scent exploration activates pleasure centers in the brain, similar to how visual beauty affects humans. A slow sniff walk can be more fulfilling for your dog than an hour of fetch. And here's what will break your heart in the best way. Watch their body language when you let them lead. Their shoulders drop, their tail relaxes. They look back at you, not with anxiety, not checking if they're in trouble, but with something softer, something that looks a lot like gratitude. A rushed walk says, I have things to do. A slow walk says, you are the thing I came to do. Your dog doesn't need you to run marathons with them. They don't need perfect training or expensive toys. They need you to slow down. They need you to say, with your pace and your patience, this moment is yours, and I'm honored to share it. We live in a world that tells us love is action. Grand gestures, constant engagement, doing more, giving more, being more. So when it comes to our dogs, we assume the same rules apply. We throw the ball, we buy the toys, we plan the adventures, we fill every moment with something because stillness feels like neglect. But here's a secret your dog has been trying to teach you all along. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give them is nothing at all. Not nothing as in absence. Nothing as in presence without demand. Think about the moments when you're sitting on the couch, reading a book or watching TV and your dog is lying nearby. Not asking for anything, not being entertained, just there, breathing the same air, sharing the same space. To you, this might feel like a non-moment, background noise in a busy life. To your dog, this is everything. Dogs are pack animals at their core. And in a pack, safety isn't communicated through constant interaction. It's communicated through calm proximity. The assurance that we're here, together, and nothing is wrong. Practice 6 is the hardest one for most people. Just be. Sit with your dog without reaching for your phone, without turning it into a training session, without filling the silence with commands or questions or baby talk. Just exist alongside them with a regulated, peaceful energy. This teaches your dog something profound. Your presence doesn't come with conditions. You're not there to demand performance or attention. You're simply there. And that safety, that quiet, unshakable safety, is the foundation of every secure bond. Now here's practice 7, and it might be the most tender of them all. Say their name, not as a command, but as an acknowledgement. Throughout the day, in soft moments, just speak their name, not to call them over, not to correct them, just to let them know you see them. Hey Bella. That's it. Soft voice, warm eyes, a verbal touch that says, I notice you. You exist in my world, and I'm glad you're here. Most of the time, we only say our dog's name when we want something from them. Come here, stop that, drop it. Their name becomes a prelude to expectation. But when you say their name with nothing attached, just recognition, just presence, you teach them that they matter beyond what they do for you. They matter simply because they are. Watch how they respond. A slight tail wag. A soft look. Maybe they'll sigh and settle deeper into their bed. That's not indifference. That's trust. Sometimes the loudest "I love you" is just sitting there, together, asking nothing of each other. Your dog doesn't need you to fill every moment. They need you to be someone worth resting beside, calm, present, undemanding. That's the invisible gift. And it costs you nothing but stillness. We've been building towards something this entire video, and now it's time to close the loop. Remember what I told you at the beginning? That there's one thing most dog owners do every single day, believing it shows love, that's actually creating invisible emotional distance? Here it is, and it's not what you expect. It's inconsistency. Not inconsistency in feeding times or walk schedules. Inconsistency in emotional presence. Some days you come home bursting with affection. Other days you're distracted, stressed, barely acknowledging them before you collapse on the couch. Some mornings you have all the patience in the world. Other mornings their excitement annoys you and they can feel the sharp edge in your voice. You're not a bad owner. You're human. Life is unpredictable. Moods shift. Energy fluctuates. But here's what that unpredictability does to your dog over time. They start to watch you differently, not with joy, with assessment. They learn to read your footsteps, your posture, your breathing, trying to calculate which version of you just walked through the door. Behaviorists call this attachment anxiety. And it doesn't look like what you think. It looks like a dog who follows you from room to room, not out of love, but out of uncertainty. A dog who gets overly excited when you pay attention because they're never sure when it's coming next. A dog who seems clingy or needy or anxious in ways you've written off as personality. But it's not personality, it's adaptation. They're not anxious by nature. They became anxious because love in their world became unpredictable. This is why everything we've talked about matters so much. Calm arrivals, peaceful departures, soft eye contact, intentional touch, slow walks, quiet presence, speaking their name with warmth. These aren't just nice things to do. They're the architecture of emotional safety. When you practice them consistently, daily, not perfectly, but reliably, you teach your dog something they desperately need to learn. I can trust this. I can rest in this. This love isn't going anywhere. And when a dog finally learns that, everything changes. The anxiety softens. The clinginess fades. They stop watching you with vigilance and start watching you with peace. Because they're not waiting for the other shoe to drop anymore. They already love you unconditionally. The question is, have you learned to show them love in ways they can actually receive? You now have 7 practices, 7 daily opportunities to translate your love into their language. Not grand gestures, not expensive gifts, just presence, patience, predictability. That's what they've been waiting for. And the most beautiful part? You can start today, right now. The next time you walk through your front door, the next time your eyes meet theirs, you have the dictionary now. Use it. Because your dog has been listening for this language their whole life. It's time they finally heard you.